My name is Jenna. I want to tell you a story that changed my life forever. I grew up in a small town where everyone knew everyone. Everything felt so simple and easy. I believed in dreams. I believed that love could conquer everything. I believed that if two people loved each other truly, they could face the whole world together. When I was 17, I met Liam. He was different from any boy I had ever known. He was kind and funny. He listened to me really carefully. He made me feel seen and special. He had a warm smile that could make anyone forget their problems. His laugh was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. At first we were just friends. We talked for hours about everything and nothing. We walked through the park and watched the sunset. We sat by the river and dreamed about the future. Slowly, without even realizing it, I fell in love with him. One day, under the soft light of the setting sun, he took my hand and told me that he loved me too. It was the happiest moment of my life. I thought my parents would be happy for me. I thought they would see how much Liam loved me and how happy I was. But I was wrong. Very wrong. The first time I told them about him, they looked at each other with hard eyes. My father said no without even asking a single question. My mother said, "He is not right for you, you deserve better." I did not understand what they meant. They had never even met him. I tried to explain how good Liam was and how he made me feel safe and loved. But they refused to listen. They had already made up their minds. They said he was from a different background. They said his family was not respectable enough. They said he would never be able to give me a good life. I cried that night for hours, feeling like my world was falling apart. But I was not ready to give up. Not on Liam. Not on us. We continued to meet in secret. We sent each other letters and messages. We met at the old library where nobody really went anymore. We made promises to each other. Promises that no matter what happened, we would find a way to be together. One evening I gathered all my courage and asked my parents again. I told them that I loved him truly and deeply. I told them that I could not imagine a future without him. But my father grew angrier than I had ever seen him. He shouted and said things that hurt me deeply. Things I knew he did not really mean. Then he said, "If you choose him, you will not be my daughter anymore." Those words broke something inside me. I spent many nights lying awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering what to do. Should I give up on the boy I loved just to please my parents? Should I run away? Should I fight? Should I cry? I did not know. All I knew was that my heart ached in a way it never had before. No matter how hard I tried to ignore it, the ache would not go away. Liam was my light in those dark days. He never once pressured me. He always said, "Jenna, whatever you choose, I will respect it, even if it means letting you go." Deep inside, I knew he was hurting too. We both were. One night I made a decision. I would not run away. I would not destroy my family. But I would not destroy myself either. I decided I would fight. But not with anger. Not with hate. I would fight with love and patience. I would prove to my parents that Liam was the right one for me. I would show them not through words but through actions. The next morning I sat down with my parents. Calmly I told them I understood their fears. I told them I understood they only wanted the best for me. But I also told them that I deserved a chance to choose my own happiness. I asked them to meet Liam once. Just once. No promises. No decisions. Just a meeting. At first they refused. Days passed. Weeks passed. But I did not give up. Every day I showed them I was still the same daughter they loved. Every day I showed them that loving Liam had not changed my values or my dreams. Slowly, very slowly, their hearts began to soften. One rainy afternoon, my mother finally agreed. She said one meeting. Nothing more. My heart exploded with hope. I ran to Liam and told him everything. He smiled that beautiful smile and promised he would do his best. The day of the meeting, I was more nervous than I had ever been. Liam wore his best clothes and brought flowers for my mother. He spoke politely and respectfully. He listened more than he talked. He answered every question with honesty and grace. At first, my parents were cold. But slowly, very slowly, they began to see what I saw. They began to see his kindness, his strength, his love for me. They began to see that he was not a mistake. He was a blessing. When Liam left that night, my father said nothing. My mother said nothing. I could barely sleep. The next morning, my father called me to the living room. He looked at me for a long time. Then he said, "Jenna, we still have worries, but we see that you truly love him and that he truly loves you. If this is your choice, we will respect it." After that night, things between me and my parents changed. They were not fully convinced, but they started treating Liam differently. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. My dad still had his doubts, and my mom was more concerned about the future. But every time they saw how happy I was with Liam, a little more of their resistance melted away. It wasn't easy. There were days when I doubted myself, when I wondered if I was doing the right thing. But every time I looked into Liam's eyes, I knew. I knew that no matter what happened, he was the one for me. His love gave me strength, and his patience gave me hope. One day, Liam took me to the park where we first met. We sat on the same bench where we had spent hours talking about everything and nothing. It felt like the right place for what was about to happen next. He looked at me with those warm eyes of his, and I knew that he was about to say something important. He said, "Jenna, I know we've been through a lot, and I know it's not easy for you. But I want you to know that no matter what happens, I'll always be here for you. I love you, and I'll fight for us. I'll fight for our future." Tears welled up in my eyes. I couldn't say anything. I just hugged him tightly, feeling so thankful that he was there with me. We didn't need words at that moment. We just needed each other. A few weeks later, my parents invited Liam over for dinner again. It was a small step, but it was another sign that they were starting to accept him. Liam came over, dressed in his best clothes, trying to make a good impression. My father didn't say much, but my mother smiled at him and even asked about his family. It was the first time she had shown any interest in him, and I felt like my heart was soaring. We didn't talk about marriage yet. It was too soon. But I could feel the change in the air. My parents were softening. They were starting to see Liam for who he really was. They could see that he wasn't the enemy. He was just someone who loved their daughter, and in their hearts, they could understand that. As time passed, Liam and I grew closer, and so did my relationship with my parents. They still had their concerns, but they began to trust me more. They saw that I was happy, and that made them happy too. Slowly, I began to feel like everything was falling into place. One night, after dinner, my father called me into the living room. My heart raced. I had no idea what to expect. Was this going to be another fight? Another argument? Or was it something else? When I walked in, my father was sitting quietly in his chair, looking at me with a calm expression. He said, "Jenna, I've been thinking a lot about everything. I know I haven't made it easy for you. But I can see now that you and Liam are serious about each other. I see how much you love him and how much he loves you. I may not understand everything, but I trust you." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My father was finally giving us his blessing. I felt like the weight of the world had been lifted off my shoulders. "Thank you, Dad," I whispered, my voice trembling with emotion. "Thank you for understanding." That night, I told Liam the news. He was overjoyed. We hugged, laughed, and even cried a little. For the first time in a long time, everything felt right. A few months later, Liam and I were sitting in my favorite spot by the river, talking about our future. We had been through so much to get here, and now everything was finally falling into place. Holding my hand, Liam said, "Jenna, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I know we've had our challenges. But I want to ask you something important." He looked at me with those deep, loving eyes. "Will you marry me?" I couldn't speak. My heart was racing, my mind was spinning. All I could do was nod, tears streaming down my face. Yes, Liam. I will marry you." From that moment on, everything changed. The road wasn't always smooth, but we had each other. And that was all we needed. Years have passed since that day by the river. Liam and I are married now, and we have built a life together. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. My parents came around, and they are now our biggest supporters. We visit them often, and they are proud of the life we've built. They've learned to accept that love doesn't always come in the package we expect, but that doesn't make it any less real. Now, when I look back on everything, I realize that the love we have is stronger than anything. It's stronger than any obstacle we faced, stronger than any doubt or fear. True love isn't just about finding the right person, it's about fighting for that person, about believing in them even when others don't. It's about never giving up, no matter how hard things get. And so, to anyone out there who feels like love is impossible, I want you to know this: don't give up. Don't let the world tell you who to love or how to love. Follow your heart, believe in yourself, and fight for the love you deserve. Because in the end, it's all worth it.